And the top story of the day, it has been a day of fast-paced developments in Punjab, a full day of tit-for-tat action perhaps. A Mohali court today issued an arrest warrant against the BJP leader Tajinder Bagga, the man at the centre of the political war right now, a war between the AAP and the BJP. And on the same day, around the same time, the CBI raided a sitting AAP MLA in Punjab, while in Delhi, BJP protesters were detained for a while after they protested outside the Delhi Chief Minister's home. Meanwhile, the battleground has shifted to Punjab now with the CBI raiding that sitting MLA's home, Jaswant Singh, in an alleged 40 crore rupee bank fraud case. And as that Mohali court issued a warrant against Tajinder Bagga, asking the Punjab police to arrest him and produce him in Mohali, many questions remain over this entire saga. Remember, yesterday the Haryana police say they stopped the Punjab police taking Tajinder Bagga to Punjab at Kurukshetra because the Delhi police had communicated the kidnapping complaint filed by Mr Bagga's father. But actually, the kidnapping FIR was actually filed almost an hour after the Haryana police stopped the Punjab police. So many differing versions on this chain of custody, but many questions being raised right now, worrying questions on a day where we've seen raids versus warrants, new warrants being issued. Is this a classic case of how the system is being misused to please political executives? 3 state police dragged down along with the, the BJP and the AAP in their slugfest, leaving the Aam Aadmi asking, the public asking, where is the rule of the law? Joining us on Left, Right and Centre tonight will be Mr Satyapal Jain, the Additional Solicitor General of India, representing the Delhi Police, member of the BJP National Executive Committee, Mr Shashi Kant, former DGP of the Punjab Police, Sukhpreet Singh, leader of the BJP and co-convener of the BJP Sikh cell in Delhi, and ML Sharma, former Special Director of the CBI. But first, I want to go across first to Atishi, the MLA and spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Thank you for your time. Atishi, the Punjab police now going to the Mohali court a day after yesterday's fiasco. Not only was it overreach by the Punjab police, but in the end eventually turned out to be a shoddy job because they did not follow procedures, and then you have a self-goal of sorts with Mr Bagga returning home after allegations of cases of kidnapping or, forced pickup by the police. So now an attempt at a second round, but this time round it will go right?
So, Sarah, first of all, we need to understand the background of this entire matter. Mr. Tajinder Singh Bagga, like a true representative of the Bharatiya Janata Party, engages in all kinds of acts of gundaism, hooliganism, inciting riots, conducting violence, and BJP has been protecting him all along. I mean, Tajinder Singh Bagga is a history sheeter. The kind of cases he hands against him for inciting riots, for breaking and entering against people's will, of attacking people and violence. Then what does he try to do? He tries to incite violence. He tries to spread communal tension between 2 different communities in Punjab. So obviously it is the job of the Punjab police to act, because if tomorrow there were communal riots in Punjab, you on this show would turn around and ask me that if people were spreading communal hatred, what was the Punjab police doing? What was the Punjab government doing? So obviously the Punjab police has to act if someone is causing communal tensions. What does the Punjab police do? Files an FIR, sends 5 summons, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 summons are sent to Mr Tajinder Bagga. He tries to quash those summons in the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Those summons are not quashed. The High Court refuses to quash those summons. Then the Punjab police, following proper procedure, comes to a Delhi police thana, informs the police station, who instead of following due process, detains the Punjab police there itself. So it is very clear that Punjab police was following...
Atishi, sorry, that's not the chronology of how it happened. They detained the Punjab police after they had Mr Bagga in their custody.
They detained them the previous night. You can see that there is a video of it. You can see the fact that they went the previous night. They were in that police station from before Mr Bagga was arrested. And after that, what one can clearly see, Sarah, is the fact that Bharatiya Janata Party goes out of its way to protect the gundaism, protect the hooliganism, and the attempt to incite riots by Mr. Tajinder Bagga by misusing the police, by illegally using the police of two states, of Haryana and Punjab. And I don't know if you have seen the latest court order that has come from Mohali court just maybe 20 minutes ago or half an hour ago. The Mohali court has stated that the actions of the Haryana police and Delhi police were blatantly illegal. What message does this give, Sara? In the entire country, BJP workers are watching. And what do they see? Incite violence, engage in violence, and Bharatiya Janata Party will misuse all laws, misuse the police to protect those doing gundaism. You come back you come back from jail and Adesh Gupta will call you to the party office and garland you, probably give you a ticket, promote you in the party.
But
you take
Atishi,
my word,
let me ask
the
you,
actions
when
of Bharatiya Janata Party are going to increase violence and gundaism by their cadre all across the country within the next month.
But Atishi, was it an appropriate response where you have Mr. Bagga tweeting unsavory content about the Delhi Chief Minister? You have Jignesh Mevani tweeting similarly objectionary content about the Prime Minister. Is this the response that you send your state police to another state to have him picked up?
Sarah, the problem is not content against the Chief Minister. There is enough. You just need to open Twitter and you will find thousands of examples of people saying all kinds of rubbish about Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. The problem is not rubbish spoken against Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. The problem is that you are trying to incite one community against another. You are trying to increase the communal tensions between two communities that exist in Punjab. This is exactly the kind of thing that flares up. This is exactly the kind of divisive messaging that eventually goes on to cause communal riots. Tomorrow, if violence was to happen in Punjab, you would turn around and ask me on this show that if people were inciting violence, why did the Punjab police not do anything? Why did you let them get away with inflammatory speeches and inflammatory messages on social media?
So how will it be different now going forward, now that you have a new warrant from the Mohali police?
Well,
how can you ensure a different outcome from what we saw yesterday?
The Mohali court has issued a non-bailable warrant for Tajinder Bagga and has very clearly said that the actions of the Delhi police and the Haryana police were blatantly illegal and have asked for Mr. Bagga to be produced in front of the court. So I am hoping that the Bharatiya Janata Party will cease its illegal activity to save its gundagardi, to save the hooliganism, to save the inciting of riots by its party workers and party leaders. Because it is not just a question of Mr. Bagga. Sarah, think about the impact it has on BJP workers all over the country.
Thank you for joining us. Atishi, I wish you would have been able to stay on for the debate, but I'm told by your team that that is not possible for now. But I want to go across to our panel, an unsavory episode that really does not reflect well on the police. We have Mr. Satyapal Jain, Additional Solicitor General of India, representing the Delhi Police, member of the BJP National Executive Committee. I want to put aside for a while, Mr. Jain, the issue of whether the arrest of Tajinder Bagga for his tweets against the Chief Minister is appropriate, is deplorable, etc. But I want to just talk about the issue of hindering the Punjab police personnel in their duty. Is that appropriate? Are we actually saying, is the central government saying that the police of a state abducts Indian citizens? And is this not something to be extremely worried about? Can this not be used as a precedent in other cases?
See, whatever happened in Delhi yesterday and the acts of Punjab police are really a matter of concern for all those people who are law-abiding and who believe that there is a rule of law in this country. See, let's be clear about the facts. I'm making it clear, absolutely clear once again on your channel. Delhi police did not detain, have not arrested or detained or stopped any Punjab police officer in the police station, Janakpuri or anywhere else in the Delhi, any police station. We have not detained any person. And what happened was, at about
if a Punjab police has arrested somebody, can you prevent the Punjab police from following up with that arrest?
That is what I am explaining. It's a rule of law. You can't go to somebody's house and pick him up and beat his father and take the person in the car. The law has been
What happened with Jignesh Mawani?
Please, the law has been settled by the Supreme Court. If the police of one state wants to arrest somebody in another state, there are the law conditions laid down. Number one, the police must go in the uniform. They must show their identity card to the police of that state. They should take that police into confidence. And if the police is not cooperating, then you go to the CJM. CJM will issue the warrants and then you take the person into custody. In the present case, the police people who went to arrest Mr. Bagga were in the plain clothes. They were not in the uniform. They entered at about 8:03 a.m. and by 8:08 a.m. they take that person into custody without disclosing who they are. He lodges an FIR. The Delhi police did not inform us. Then we got a search warrant issued from the court. It was Delhi court which issued the search warrant, and we found them in around Pipli. We take him into the custody in execution of the search warrant, and produce him before the court. It is the court of Delhi which released Mr. Bagga last evening. It is the Punjab police which flouted all the norms of decency as well as the law laid down by the Supreme Court about the arrest of person in other state. I wish she was here. I want to tell her it's a very good political speech that you are giving, but that is not the law of the land.
Well,
law
I wish Atishi had stayed on for the discussion too, but I'm told by AAP that it was not possible today. But I want to bring in Mr. Shashikant, former DGP of Punjab, who's here, who can talk to us. Did you ever think, sir, that you would have a situation where you have a habeas corpus petition filed by the Punjab police saying that they were detained, that police officials of the Punjab police was detained by the Haryana police, a really sorry state of affairs? Did you ever think that you would, live to see this day?
Look, I don't think the habeas corpus petition was ever filed, but I'll draw your attention to the incident which happened in '93, and then I think it was May '93 and 13 months later. I'm talking about the Tiljila case. I think Mr. Emil Sharma is also here. I think he had dealt with this case very well. And a few months after that, it was, I think, Ulparia or something, again in West Bengal, where West Bengal police had taken this Punjab police person into custody, and the matter was sorted out. No habeas corpus petition, but the matter was sorted out once our then Chief Minister Jaswant Singh talked to Mr. I think West Bengal Chief Minister Mr. Jyoti Basu. Then was sorted out. But I'll say one thing, like Mr. Satyapal Jain has also said, I'm sure that Mr. Emil Sharma is going to also say the same thing, that there is a specific law and order, a specific principle laid down in the CRPC.
Yes.
Obtain the warrant of requisite papers, go to the police station, take their help. If the local police is not obliging, go to the local magistrate, take his permission, along with the help of the local police, arrest the person, produce him again before the magistrate. And
was that followed or not, as far as you know?
Look, you yourself have said it's a slugfest going on. Nobody really knows what happened there. I know this much only, that once he was taken into custody, he was taken to Gurgaon, and then he was the medical examination, etc., was conducted. Nobody knows what really happened. Like you very rightly used this word, slugfest.
So was it a shoddy job or not by the Punjab police? You're saying it's unclear, given the facts we don't know that. But Mr. Sharma, on the same day you see a CBI raid, you're the former special director of the CBI, the same day you see a CBI raid on an AAP MLA, coincidentally on the same day as you have now a new warrant being issued for his arrest. Coincidence? So what do you make about this, about the misuse of organizations? At least that's what it seems like from the outside.
See, the real issue is, what are the contents of the tweets of Mr. Bagga, and whether they disclose commission of offences alleged against him. Now, we are not aware as to what did he say. I'm vaguely told by my son that he talked about the Kashmir file and one of the political top leaders of Delhi, laughing at it, something like that. Now, frankly speaking, politicians should have a thicker skin. And, in our villages, they say that a tree which bears fruit, wanton boys always throw stones at it. So politician is a very powerful person, and therefore people have a right to say things about him, criticize him and all that. So they have to take it in stride. I see this case, whole episode, more as politics rather than as law. My understanding of the thing is that, and contents is important, about which nobody is talking. Second issue that I want to raise is the jurisdiction, registration of FIR. Now, if tweets have been made from Delhi, now whether the case should have been registered in Punjab or Delhi, now that's also something which needs to be settled. And third, Punjab police can come. It has jurisdiction. Once case has been registered, it has jurisdiction all over the country. About that, there's no problem. But as our ASG very rightly has pointed out, not only Supreme Court order, Basu ruling, it has been incorporated in section 41B in the CRPC. So they should be, and they should be in uniform, or they should have the nameplate, things like that. They should look like police people, police officers. They can't barge in. And frankly, quite gang can be there, and other gangs. And moreover, it's not a rape case or a murder case or a case against the security of the state. So all these things have to be kept in mind. Now, my view is this, as Mr. Shashikan rightly says, chief ministers of the 2 states, now I would say 3 states, should talk and sort this out, because I know Punjab, I've done many cases, Mr. Shashikan knows in Punjab, and I know Punjab culture, the matter is not going to stop here. Haryana people detained their people, they are not going to keep quiet about it, because police forces of one state have to go into another state and to call us and take searches and things like that. The solution is not legal. According to me, the solution is political. Now,
but sir, what about the fact that you also have that CBI raid be carried out today?
Frankly speaking, I'll be very honest with you. It is retaliatory. The raid may be justified, but the question is of time. You didn't do it 2 days earlier, or you didn't do it 2 weeks later. Now, that's what I'm saying. It's all politics. The issue is not very big. The chief minister of 3 states should talk about it and sort it out, because police forces have to work in other states. There's only way. Now, this is a very small matter according to me. And the magistrate, Mohali magistrate, passing a non-bailable warrant of arrest, now it's a fait accompli. The best advice I can give to Mr. Bagga is that he should go and surrender, or he should get the arrest warrant quashed. I don't attribute much value to the observations made by the Mohali magistrate that Bagga did this, because on the same facts, matter is still pending in the Punjab and Haryana court. So he has
comes up on Tuesday.
He has put, I mean, he should have upped the ante before waiting for the, so these are my things. So again, I repeat, law is not a legal problem. It's basically a political problem.
It's a political issue. Mr. Singh,
and last word I again say, I repeat myself, political leaders, they need to have thick skin. They need to take criticism.
A political issue, Mr. Sukhpreet Singh. How can the Haryana police then interfere in the Punjab police's arrest? This is, if they've come to Delhi.
You see, they got my understanding is that they got a message from Delhi police, car numbers and things like that. And they said they have kidnapped a person. Haryana police is fully justified.
So the Haryana police cooperated then with the Delhi police, which reports to the Home Ministry, but...
Home Ministry is out of picture, frankly speaking. Home Ministry.
Why do you say that, sir?
Because what happens behind the curtain, we don't know. You're already guessing. I'm not guessing. I'm saying, as far as law is concerned, it is police forces. What is behind that? I don't want to talk about it because I don't know it for certain. So Haryana police was well within its right, acting in the manner they acted. But again, I would say, I'm a neutral person. Detaining police officers after knowing their identity for that long, that.
All right, let's get it, Mr. Singh. Detaining police officers when you know their identity, is this not a very slippery slope that we have gone down? The police in different states have to work together, sir.
There are 3 things which we should, put in focus. Number 1 is that there is no transit remand was there. No, they should come.
Sir, detaining personnel who you know are police officers.
Illegal arrest.
Once you know that they are police officers, should the Haryana police have detained them?
They were not carrying any ID cards. They were not showing their ID cards. They were without.
Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I would like to clarify the Haryana government, by filing an affidavit in the High Court, denied that they did not detain any Punjab officer anywhere. So far as the custody of Mr. Bagga was concerned, in execution of the search warrants issued by a competent court of law of Delhi. In execution of that warrant, Mr. Bagga's custody was given to Delhi police, and we Delhi police took him to the court, produced him before the court, and it was the court at about 11 p.m. in the night ordered the release of Mr. Bagga. Unfortunately, the Punjab police is treating Mr. Bagga a small fry like Gabbar Singh of the Sholay film, that you send to 3 vehicles without number, without uniform, just enter his house, drag him and take him into the custody. There is a law prescribed, as my learned, both the senior friends have said. We are denying neither the Punjab, Haryana police nor Delhi police did not detain any official of the Punjab police. This is absolutely wrong. So far as Mohali court's order is concerned, I don't know what is the order. I have not seen it. But how could the Mohali court pass an order against Delhi police or Haryana police without hearing us? We were not represented there.
I want to focus on the bigger picture, the worrying picture about the precedent of one state police versus another, which is very unfortunate, can lead to non-cooperation, can actually come in the way of rule-based governance. If I can go
For
across
that,
to
the whole blame
Mr.
lies with the
Shashikant,
Punjab
your
police.
response, we're
Did
going to
not
be out
follow
of
the law.
time too. Mr. Shashikant, does this worry you?
It does worry me, really. And to put you right in the picture, I think the same thing that happened today in Noida. There was almost not a clash, but the same kind of situation between Rajasthan police and the UP police. And this kind of things have been happening, but I think that is a very sad and sorry state of affairs. The police forces of certain states are being used as a personal militia or something for various ends, whatever the political masters want to do them. This is a worrisome trend. And again, police forcing coming into clash with each other, and in which both of them are armed. God forbid tomorrow if they start using the arms, what happens? I think this is a suitable case, where I think even the highest court of the land should take so much notice of the entire thing and pass some guidelines. What is happening? We don't have a civil war in this country.
Absolutely, very worrying, and thank you all for joining us tonight on this very worrying feature and the latest developments coming out of Punjab. Now we have a new warrant. Let's see what happens and how that arrest is carried out. Thank you all for joining us on Left, Right and Centre.